Don't leave me hanging. It's go time.
Hey everybody, this is Josh, and we have another game from TLO here. It is a best of 3 series against GoOdy. TLO is the light blue Terran up here in the top spawn of Lost Temple, and GoOdy is the purple Terran over here on the left side spawn. They are both German players, and they're both playing this best of 3 series for the round of 8 at the PokerIdol.com tournament that took place somewhere in the United Kingdom a few weeks ago, but should be some great games here. TVT. TLO actually is technically a random player, but he does race pick against Terran opponents. I guess he feels that he has better odds against Terran opponents as Terran rather than Protoss or Zerg, but if he's playing a Protoss or Zerg opponent, he just sticks to random because he can win with any race. But here we go on Lost Temple. We just saw some games with TLO against Mers. One of them was on Lost Temple, and TLO never let up on his harassment, so we'll see if he employs similar tactics here against GoOdy, who is a member of ESC Gaming. It's a lesser-known team, but GoOdy himself is extremely good, shows up all over the place in Zotek Cups, Craft Cups, Go for SE2 Cups, TL Opens, basically everything he can play in, and he's just all over the place. I believe he was at Assembly as well, which just took place this weekend. TLO also was at Assembly. Neither player got as far as they would like, but, you know, they played some good games anyway. And as usual in a Terran versus Terran on any map, we see mirrored buildings here in the production tab, and probably will for a couple more minutes, at least until probably the first factory is built. After that, it tends to diverge either into a second factory, a second barracks, or a starport. And TLO basically is a jack of all trades, so I really cannot give a good prediction on what he's going to do. GoOdy, on the other hand, seems to be very, very into siege tanks, so I wouldn't be surprised if he went straight for Tank Marine or something like that. TLO, like I said, is a wild card, so now that this barracks is finished, he could throw up a second barracks, try to expand, throw up a factory, who knows, we'll see. But GoOdy is going to get some scouting information here and see that there's nothing unusual going on in TLO's base. TLO still has not scouted, so GoOdy is going to have that little advantage at least for a second or two. TLO has his first Marine out now, not sure where he's headed with it, probably just going to stick here at the top of his ramp, make sure that SCV from GoOdy doesn't return. TLO's throwing up his second gas, as is GoOdy, still more or less mirrored up here, except for that supply depot finishing a little bit later. But, oh, here we have a big change. So GoOdy is getting a factory up right after he's able to. TLO instead getting a reactor on his barracks, and this could actually be one of two strategies here. He could be cranking out a lot of Marines and eventually getting tanks and medevacs, or he could be getting that factory and flipping it onto that reactor quickly for a bunch of Hellions. Like I said earlier, TLO is all about harassing mineral lines. He hates enemy workers, so Hellions would not surprise me in the least. We'll see what ends up happening, though. GoOdy looks like he is going to be prepared for this mini push by TLO. He's got 2 Marines and a single SCV against 2 Marines and a single SCV. We'll see if the high ground advantage from GoOdy is actually going to make a difference here. And some good micro there, keeping his Marine alive. GoOdy does lose an SCV. Both players lose a Marine, though, and TLO is fully killed off. This last Marine still alive with full health. So GoOdy fending that off, no problems whatsoever. Came out on top there. Factory about to complete here for TLO. He did get his reactor finished, and he is making a lot of Marines, and he will not flip the factory onto the reactor. Instead, he will build a tech lab on it very quickly and get a starport up. So Tank Marine perhaps going to be TLO's build of choice here, and GoOdy, on the other hand, is getting a starport up very quickly as well. It's already a little bit further ahead than TLO's. He's getting a tech lab on his factory, which of course could mean he's getting tanks, like I mentioned earlier, or he could flip the starport onto the tech lab, get some Banshees out quite quickly. I'm not sure if GoOdy is the type to do a lot of Banshee harassment or not. Ooh, but check that out. Factory is lifting off the tech lab, starport going on there. Probably going to see some Banshees, folks. And initially starts building a Banshee and has Cloak, so he saved up the proper timing there and was able to start both of them at the exact same time. That's always nice, because as a Banshee flies over to your enemy's base, Cloak will finish and you can cloak as soon as you get there, so it really is a really good at timing. You guys might want to pay attention to this. But Medevac coming out for TLO. He's got a lot of Marines here now, and a single tank is out. He does not have Siege Tech researched yet. Second tank coming out now. Probably just going to queue up some Medevacs, tanks, and Marines, and try and do a timing push. Actually, he's moving out right now, so we'll see GoOdy actually come up here with a Hellion and get shooed away by these mini Marines. Tank actually being dropped just to save some time there, and now TLO is going to march right past the Xel'Naga Tower. GoOdy running away with his Hellion, does not want to lose that for no reason. Actually microed back in there for some reason. He knows he can't take on 8 Marines and a tank and a medevac, but his ramp seems to be pretty well defended here. He's got a bunker full of Marines, and this Banshee is out now. No cloak is done yet, but these SCVs are here to repair just in case. If GoOdy has some good control with this Banshee, he can continue to float over the high ground and maybe pick off a tank, maybe pick off some Marines. We'll see. Actually, GoOdy is going to continue on into TLO's base, so we'll go ahead and put him in the picture-in-picture while we watch TLO's assault here on the front. Hellion and 4 Marines, pretty much all that he's got here. Could actually be really bad if TLO gets these units up the cliff very quickly, drops those first 2 tanks quickly, and picks up a bunch of Marines, but now he is paying attention back in his base, and these Marines are not here to actually battle off this Banshee. There's no scan available, so TLO could actually be forced to pull away here. He loses a tank to that Banshee, and now a tank is out for GoOdy as well, so he's going to have more than enough to ward this off. That cloaked Banshee, just enough to keep TLO basically out of his hair. Now let's go take a look at the Banshee of GoOdy back in TLO's base. There is a turret being built up very quickly. There's not enough juice on this orbital command for a scan, even though these 2 Vikings are lying in wait. Banshee is going to rack up 8 total kills here before being forced to fly away. Banshee number 2 that helped defend that base just a moment ago is now over here as well. These Vikings from TLO are going to try and pursue. Cloak runs out on the first Banshee, but looks like he is going to be able to escape and probably get repaired up back at home. Here's a 3rd Banshee up here in the top left from GoOdy heading over to TLO's base already, and he is just going to continue building out of that Star Party supply block just for a moment here, trying to get another Viking out. Actually, he's not building a supply depot, but he is building a command center, which will give him some supply. Anyway, Banshee number 3 showing up here for GoOdy. We'll go ahead and watch this. It looks like TLO did send some Vikings over to GoOdy's base, so we'll drop them in the picture-in-picture to see if they can do anything. But this cloakable Banshee, really what I want to pay attention to here. There's no Raven out, obviously, as that starport still has never had a tech lab attached. This Banshee is going to score 2 quick Marine kills, and there is enough energy in that orbital command for a scan, but I'm not sure if TLO feels comfortable with the amount of Marines he has. He's actually paying too much attention elsewhere, and his Marines are dying right as they pop out of the barracks. Now he sets these Marines underneath the Banshee. He needs to get those Vikings wherever they are to come back home. Banshee already up to 4 kills now. Scan, are you ever going to go down? No. This Banshee just got away with 5 kills pretty easily here, so unless TLO scans way ahead of this Banshee and actually manages to kill it off with these Vikings, he just lost quite a lot of units there for the price of a single Banshee. He probably will be able to get this kill. At least he's able to kill 1 Banshee finally in this game. Siege tech was completed for GoOdy. He's just been building tanks and Vikings since that 3rd Banshee was completed. TLO back at home has 4 tanks and a couple of Vikings of his own, so he's actually still not in terrible shape. 59 supply for TLO, 61 for GoOdy. Let's look at the worker count real quick, and we'll see that GoOdy is way ahead. Those Banshees doing their job. 36 harvesters against 26, and now TLO is starting to move. He's got 1 medevac loaded up with tanks, another with Marines, actually 2 medevacs loaded up with tanks, and another with Marines. Going to send a pretty sizable force here to GoOdy's base to try and do some damage. Switch back to the production tab. We'll see GoOdy researching pre-igniter Hellions now and getting an armory up, so Thors might be in the near future here. We'll see how much damage TLO is actually able to do here with this drop. If it's not enough, he could be in big trouble, as he is behind on harvesters, and GoOdy is starting to take his expansion. TLO sieges up very quickly, but GoOdy actually already had a siege tank in the middle of his base, and this Viking lands here, this cloaked Banshee being attacked by a couple of Vikings. It goes down. TLO still has a couple of units here, but GoOdy actually has the superior number of tanks, and this other cloaked Banshee here. TLO forced to blow another scan there. 2 Banshees down, but TLO's ground forces are all but obliterated by those 3 tanks, and TLO actually GG's. He's sitting at 52 supply against GoOdy's 62, but he has not expanded. He's got an inferior worker count, and he knows that this is just going to be a long, drawn-out battle if he doesn't GG now. So GoOdy taking game 1 here in this best of 3 series for the round of 8 of the PokerIdol.com tournament. Let's go see what happens in game 2.